G'day users, it is Grizzlemarine, and I think I've been neglecting my YouTube channel a little bit too much, and I want to do a lot more tutorial videos that should hopefully improve your all-round play in Evolve. So in this particular video, I decided that I'd tell you how and when you should be defending the relay in Hunt. So the relay is the monster's main objective in Hunt, and if destroyed, allows the monster to win. Although the monster can only take out the relay at stage 3, it doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't go back to defend the relay before that time. Sometimes if you've done enough damage to the monster already and you have a good enough team, it is actually very wise to be able to fight near the relay. Of course, everyone knows that if you shoot the monster while they're trying to damage the relay, it does actually stop them from doing so. And now, this basically means you can fight the monster anywhere on any map, as long as you have sight or can actually stop the monster from damaging the relay. And that's where a lot of newbie players aren't very used to that, and they actually try and fight the monster right where the relay is, which actually gives you a massive disadvantage a lot of the time, and it's quite unwise. So I decided that I'd be showing you some probably good positions on certain maps that should give you a better advantage. Now, I'm just showing the sort of random site of Distillery. Now, funnily enough, Distillery is actually quite a good map to be able to fight the monster right where the relay is, simply because it has quite a lot of little obstacles that for good hunters you can actually dodge quite easily. But there are certain positions you can go, especially if you're trying to fall back and try and avoid the monster while you're waiting for your team to drop in. And one thing you should take into consideration, support actually does play quite a big role when defending the relay in certain situations, but I'm going to get onto that in a little bit. So first of all, when should you actually go to the relay in order to fight the monster? Well, normally at stage 3 you should definitely go towards the relay, or a good place where the monster has to fight you. Now, when the monster hits stage 3, of course, they are going to go for the relay because that's the main objective. So the monster will have to come and fight you. You don't need to go to them. And if you do go to the monster, they will likely, or a good monster, will likely find a place where it's best for them to fight, which is really, really bad for a hunter team. So you want to find the best place to fight where you can see the relay. This is kind of a prime example of a Kraken gameplay I got. So basically, we're fighting sort of around the relay and outside it because there's a lot more space where we can actually, you know, fight a lot easier. And if you do go indoors or come down where the Kraken is, or get caught down in that area where the relay is actually positioned, you do have a huge disadvantage and you could just get sort of ass raped by the monster. Now, it is actually sometimes wise to go back towards where the relay is if the monster is very low health and it's stage 2. If you know the monster's about to evolve, there's no point really going for that monster. You might as well fall back, play it safe, and play in an area where you know you're going to have an advantage when fighting the monster, because, again, as I said, a smart monster will take you somewhere where there's a lot of really difficult ground for the hunters to play and heal or shield each other, which will give the monster a distinct advantage and will be able to beat you. Now, after 17 minutes in a game, a timer will start for the monster from 3 minutes. This is a prime time for people to start going back to the relay, instead of keeping pressure on the monster, because at this point the monster's going to have enough pressure to fight you. This will mainly happen with those monsters that are sort of flee till 3, which basically means they'll keep running, getting more armor, and won't actually fight you until they're stage 3. Eventually, especially if you keep running after them, they are going to get this timer, and that is going to mean they are going to have to fight you. Now, one thing you should do as hunters is actually try and run down this timer as much as you can, especially if you're very good at fighting around the relay and the monster can't get any down penalties on you and keeps having to retreat to get armor. This timer will come up. Now, you want to run down this timer as much as possible, like I said, because this will allow you to win very easily. And this is a good example, simply using your support to cloak you all. Monster can't find you, monster can't get to the relay in time, hunters win. I'm going to just show you some prime map locations where you can fight the monster the easiest. Now, hopefully the bot doesn't come and fight me right now, because I just wanted to show this off quickly. Oh, fucking hell, the bot's coming. Okay, as I was saying, so I wanted to show you some prime map locations. I'm not going to show all the maps because that'd take me damn ages, and I'm just going to show you the most balanced maps and the best locations on certain maps, but it's all up to you guys where you actually fight, and also it's very important you have good team communication. So, as for Wraith Trap, a lot of people tend to fight on this platform, which is pretty, you know, bad, because you do have a huge disadvantage here. It's just not a very good place to fight. Not a lot of sort of high places that you can jump to try and avoid the monster in terms of dodging. Obviously, dodging is a completely different skill. I'm not going to do that in this video, but, you know, a lot of you may know how to do that already. But fighting on this platform is actually quite unwise, whereas if you simply just come over to these set of rocks over here, you actually have for one, good sight of the relay, so you can stop the monster from obviously damaging the relay. And then you have all these rocks here that you can dodge between. Of course, you get rid of any wildlife like that out of the way, so you don't have anything else taking damage from. But either way, so you can have your medic sort of sitting up here, and then I would normally have your support sort of sitting up there if he's going to shield, depending on what support you are. And then you can use all these rocks. It's just a good little place, just a little bit away from the relay, which is just a prime example of how you can fight the monster and is a lot better. I'm just going to rattle through a few more maps here, but if Barracks, for example, a lot of people will fight out on this platform, which isn't a horrible place to fight. It's actually not too bad, but the problem is you have a huge drop, which is a very risky move for the hunters, because if one of your hunter teammates does get knocked off that edge, a good monster player will take a massive advantage of that. Whereas, if you just sort of head over to the other side of the relay, you have a very similar situation, but it's a lot safer, as long as you take out any sort of fucking mammoth birds. But, you'll have, obviously, these huge rocks up here. You can get your medic sort of dodging between these two rocks. And you have your sort of assault sort of mitigating in the middle, your support over here. And you don't have a massive drop, which is going to put you at massive risk. Okay, Orbital Drill is actually said to be the most balanced map in the game currently. But as you can clearly see, if you fight right next to the relay, which only really big newbie players do, it is a really horrible place to fight because you're indoors and you're enclosed. Now, most players already know this, but just in case you didn't, since it's the most balanced map, you can come out here. Now, most of your hunter squad should place themselves up here, and one of you should stay here so that you can just see the relay. And as soon as the monster breaks this door, because the monster can only break that door, then your last hunter can retreat back up here, because that way that you can see the relay through this door very easily, and you got a lot of sort of open area to dodge and fight the monster. Last map I'm going to quickly show is, of course, Fusion Plant. Now, you don't want to fight indoors on this particular map, because you can see it's horrible, really open-spaced, very enclosed for the monster. But there's several places you can fight. The one you saw in the gameplay, of course, you can come out here to shoot the relay, and then you can come back out here, retreat out here to fight the monster in this open area here, which is pretty good. You've got some obstacles over there to dodge over, which is okay, but the main reason you would fight out here is there's an awesome God Dome you can throw, which I'm not going to show in this video. But the other place which is also really good and I would recommend, which some people tend to do as well, you can retreat just back over to this box, and again you have a good sort of sight of the relay from here, and also got a lot of places you can dodge between from sort of here to here, which is also decent for fighting the monster. Now, don't take this the wrong way, you can actually, if you want to, fight directly where the relay is, except on most of the maps I've shown, especially Refueling Tower as well, I wouldn't recommend fighting in a very enclosed space like this. There are some maps, such as Broken Hill Foundry, which is not too bad on, but some of the maps you can actually fight directly where the relay is. It's just most of the maps, sort of, I'd say 80% of the maps, you would normally fight out here, because it gives you a lot more room, a lot more sort of obstacles to jump and dodge over, a lot more places to put your sort of shield drones, or your mines, or whatever you feel like doing. Now, there are certain scenarios you need to be looking out for when you're actually defending the relay. As a trapper, it is very vital you throw the dome at the right time. If you throw the dome too early when he has a lot of armor, then he's going to be able to run out that dome and get more armor. You need to wait and dome either when the monster starts to run, or preferably just as his armor starts to finish and he starts to think about running. This way, of course, you can do the maximum amount of damage to his health. Now, another situation you'll probably come across is when the monster is able to get down a lot of your teammates and you know you are going to lose the fight. Now, taking into consideration that any role can do this, but preferably the support because of being able to cloak, you should think about running when you know that you're likely to lose the fight. This is something you should communicate with your team and decide upon very quickly. After doing a runner, any smart monster will likely go straight for the power relay to try and con you out. You, as the last remaining hunter, want to make sure that that dropship comes in, and you've got to let that timer run down as much as possible. The best thing you can do as a last remaining hunter when the monster's attacking the relay is find a position where you can see the monster and the relay from a far distance. What a lot of unexperienced hunters will do is shoot the monster as soon as they start to attack the relay. Sometimes it's actually very wise to let the monster take half the relay in order to save time for your hunter squad to drop back in. Now remember, as soon as you shoot the monster, he is going to come hurtling towards you to try and get you down before the dropship. So if you have a cloak, make sure you pop it and get in a safe position, or if you're any other hunter, I'd recommend that your dodging skills are on point. This way, especially if the monster is low health, it's going to give you the best chance to take him out. Now, Armory is actually a prime example of a relay you can fight directly next to. But remember that on every map you should have a knowledge of a position where you can see the monster and relay from a far distance, so you can prevent the monster from damaging the relay. This is an example on Armory. This particular rock here does allow you to see the monster and the relay from a really far distance, which is actually very powerful. But just make sure you know the range for certain weapons. For instance, Hank's laser cutter actually can't reach the monster from this distance because the laser cutter only has a range of 100 meters, but you'll find that most other hunters can. Just showing you one more example on Wraith Trap, and the monster actually can't see you from that distance at all. Now, I know I'm playing Cabot in this particular gameplay, and just so those of you that don't know, Cabot being able to shoot through walls, you can actually go to some pretty weird positions on certain maps where you can shoot the monster and stop them from getting the relay, which gives your hunter team a bit more variation in terms of where you can fight. Lastly, in terms of defending the relay, you will find that certain hunters are better at defending things than attacking things. For instance, Markov and his deployable mines are very powerful when doing so. In fact, some of the other hunters that have deployables, such as Bucket Sentries or Maggie's Harpoons, again do give a better advantage when defending the relay. So those are a few tips on defending the relays in Evolve. I hope it helped you become a little bit of a better player, and I'll see you in the next video.